Thank you for joining me once again. This is your host, Ellen Nicholas, sensuality consultant and lover of great pleasure. So, here tonight, we're going to talk about becoming greatest lover, the greatest physical lover. And I'm really talking to young men out there more than anything else because they're the ones who have been misled. More than anything else, the pressure is on them to be great at something they know absolutely nothing about. If you think about it, making love is a living art. And just like any other art, just because you own a paintbrush doesn't mean that you're a Picasso. And just because you own a penis doesn't mean you know what to do with it, or what's enough or what's too much. So let's talk about this a little bit tonight. The first thing I want you to know is that you should turn off any porn that you're watching. Because if you're comparing yourself to the guys in porn, then it's going to make you feel a little inadequate. And that's not right. Because whatever you've got is enough. As long as you know how to use it, then it's enough. It doesn't matter if it's huge. It doesn't matter if it's tiny. There are many, many, many ways to please your partner. And learning how to please your partner without depending on using your penis to do it is really, really important. When you develop your other skills, it helps you to also develop your confidence. And that's really very, very important. Confidence is very, very sexy. A man who understands what it takes is confident in his abilities. And the most important ability is his ability to listen to the sounds that his lover is making, to ask the questions, how does this feel? Is this good? Do you like this? If you're thinking that you're doing everything right and you're not getting any kind of positive response from your lover, you might need to ask a couple of questions. No one is born a lover. No one comes out of the womb knowing how to satisfy someone else sexually. It takes practice. And unfortunately, many women will deceive their partner and allow him to think that he was doing all the best stuff when really he was not doing all the best stuff. He was boring her, or he was too quick, or he was too rough, or he was too whatever. And they never bothered to say anything to him. Now you might say, well, why would they do that? Because they want something else from him. They don't necessarily value their sex life as being that important. So they want something else from him. Maybe they want him to take them out. Maybe they want him to buy them gifts, or, buy them expensive stuff, or, whatever. But it's not the sex that's important to them. So they will deceive. And a lot of guys are running around thinking they got all the answers and they don't have a clue. So the most important thing is to gain confidence by understanding that this is an art. And just like any art, you have to practice. And the more you practice, the more confidence you will have. We talk about a different element of sexuality and sensual pleasure every week. So today we're just going to talk about gaining confidence. Now, one of the most important things you need to do to gain confidence after practicing is to turn off the porn. If you're comparing yourself to those people, you are putting a whole lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself. You don't need to do that. When you're with someone that you like or that you love and you want to please them, it just takes a matter of communicating with them and finding out what it is that they enjoy. And if they are hard-pressed to speak to you about it, because a lot of women in particular are shy to say, I like myself touched in this way or the other. They're shy about it, or they don't want to seem like they know too much, because God forbid you might think they know too much. They act stupid. That doesn't help the guy acting stupid, because that keeps him in a state of ignorance. And the only way that we evolve as lovers is by learning through questions and through answers and through serious listening, and that will help us to grow and to learn. The confidence doesn't happen overnight. It took you years to get to where you are today. And if you are struggling with premature ejaculation, that is a habit that's going to take a little while to undo. And as long as you have that habit, you're going to be less than confident. So we're going to talk about that again because we have to talk about it often. It's a subject that really needs to be addressed, especially in this very patriarchal society where so many men think they're phenomenal, and yet 50% of men have a problem with premature ejaculation. So, I don't know where you fall in that spectrum. It's not really important. The bottom line is if you do want to get better, then you need to practice, and you need to be considerate, and you need to be a good listener. It's not like one size fits all as far as pleasing every woman. It's not like I give you A, B, and C, do these three things, and the top of her head will blow up. No, there are certain techniques out there, and we will talk about techniques as this series progresses. But today, it's not about that. Today, it's about gaining confidence. And how do you gain confidence? You learn, you make a couple of mistakes, you answer and ask questions, you learn about your own body, you gain some control. And by doing all of these things, you are building your skills. And the more skills that you have, the more confidence that you have. And then, of course, you can have all the skills in the world, but if you're not willing to use them, what good are they? So you have to be willing to try different things with your partner and aim to please. I know that sounds kind of like, wait a minute, what about me? But the bottom line is most men, especially young men, are assured of their orgasm. They don't need a whole lot of stimulation to get there. They see naked breasts, they see naked vagina, and that's all it takes. But women need a little bit more than that. We can see a penis, it could be erect, it could be attached to a phenomenal guy, but we need more. So touch is very, very important, and listening is very important, and taking your time is very important. And the more that you incorporate these elements into your foreplay, the better you will be at learning how to make love, and will also increase your amount of confidence. Now, I've said it before and I'll repeat it. It takes a good lover at least 20 minutes of physical and mental stimulation to arouse the average woman enough so that she has enough blood in her genitals to have enough the tension built up to have an orgasm. Just like the penis fills with blood, it gets to a certain level and it has to explode. Well, it's the same thing with the woman's vaginal walls and clitoris. But it takes 20 minutes. It's not that we're defective. Once that blood builds up in there, it stays there for a long, long time. And a woman can actually have one orgasm after another for, say, another hour. I would not say that that's anything defective. But in this very rushed society, people are hurrying through their foreplay, if there's any foreplay at all. And so it really does become a problem. If you want to be the very best, you have to take your time. You have to ask the questions, and you cannot be afraid of hearing an answer that goes contrary to what you believed, because nobody knows it all, and not every woman that you ever make love to is going to want the exact same stuff. It is not a one size fits all when it comes to pleasing someone. So understand that. It will also encourage you to be your very best, and also to raise your level as a lover, and your confidence level will soar when you realize that it's not that there's anything wrong with you, it's that every person is different. And so just like every person is different, you need to ask what it is that excites them. Becoming confident in your ability to please your partner and climax when you want to is super important in confidence. And so that is what will happen when you make some mistakes, when you realize that that's not where you want to go, when this is in charge and not your penis, And when you are willing to take on the Herculean task of changing the habit that you had to allow your orgasm within the first 5 minutes of stimulation. It does take time, but you can definitely learn. Next week, we will talk about the squeeze technique and how to, the detriments of pornography, mutual masturbation. But for now, I just want you to know that this is like any other art. And just like if you were going to cook something, the first time you make it, whatever it is, it might come out burnt, might come out too salty, might come out too spicy, come out not spicy enough. But then the next time you make it, it comes out a little bit better. And then the next time you make it, and then after, say, 15, 20 times, you're a master at that dish. Well, it's the same kind of thing with making love, that you are going to make mistakes. You should not fear that. You should embrace that. Do not compare yourself to anybody else, especially the guys in pornography, because those guys are airbrushed. Those guys have had special training, and they probably already had an orgasm before that shot, so they can last a whole lot longer than you could ever imagine. So be good to yourself, love yourself, take care of your body, ask a lot of questions, and be willing to listen for the answers, because that's how you grow, that's how you gain confidence, that's how you become the greatest lover. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Next week, as I said, we're going to talk about masturbation and the squeeze technique and how to learn how to hold back so that you can be there for her and for you on your terms, not on your penis's demands. I hope you enjoyed tonight. Visit me at yourpleasure.com. Ask questions if you have any. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. See you next week.